Let's start with 0 degrees. What is the point on the unit circle at 0 degrees? 1, 0. Okay, let's move up the ladder here. How about at 30 degrees? My point at 30 degrees. Hey, 16, point at 30. No, you don't need to look at your packet. You don't need it. 45. 14. 60. 12. Guys are on point today. Let's keep going. Let's go to 90. Let's hit up 90 now. 4. 20. 8. 0, 1. I'm not going to go all the way around. There's no need to because we know it repeats, but I do want to go to 180. 180. 14. And 270. Last one. 270, I'll ask. 16. Okay, nice job, everybody. Every single x coordinate represents the what of the angle? Cosine. All the y coordinates represent the sine. All right. What do I know about sine in the fourth quadrant? Positive or negative in the fourth? Negative. Remember, all students take classes. Cosine is the only one that's positive in the fourth. Sine in the second, tangent in the third, everything in the first is positive. And then yesterday at the end of class, I introduced the Pythagorean Identity, which you can use sine and cosine with. All right? Yes, thanks. All right, that was right where I was going, so let's go. Sure, 2 and 7, everybody. Okay. So here's number 2. Let me cut it out. Okay, which one does not equal the sine of 270? All right, quickly, everybody. I go to 270. You guys just gave it to me, but what's the coordinate on the unit circle at 270? 0, negative 1. So what's the sine of 270? Which one do I want? Sine. Negative 1. So I know the sine is negative 1. So I'm basically going to go through each of these with you, and you tell me which one doesn't have a sine of negative 1. So let's go cosine of 180. What's the coordinate at 180? Negative 1, 0. And if I want cosine, which one do I want? X. So this is negative 1. So that equals negative 1. I'm looking for the one that does not. So that's gone. 0. What's the coordinate at 0? 0. 1, 0. And I'm doing cosine. So which coordinate do I want? 1. But then what do I have in front here? Apply the negative. So that's also equal to the negative 1. 90. Coordinate 0, 1. Which one do I want for the sine? Y. But then I'm putting a negative in front. I know the answer is 4, but y. Ready? Sine. Which coordinate do I want? Which coordinate do I want? X or y if I'm looking for the sine? The y, which is 0. So this one equals 0, not negative 1. Okay. 7a. Are you asking about 7a or are you going? Okay, go ahead. Did I put 2 on the key? No, that's one job I did not do. Should be quadrant 1. Got me there. Nice job. How did I put 2? I probably just, I'm not even going to make excuses. That's embarrassing. Anything else from the homework? Yes, JT. We absolutely can. Which of the following has a cosine? All right. Okay, so which one? Okay, so all these have to be cosine. That's different from, okay, sine of 30. What's the y coordinate at 30? 1/2. So I'm looking for which one's got a different one than 1/2, JT. Ready? 60. What's the x coordinate at 60? Okay, so that's right. That's 1/2. So I'm looking for the one that's different, though. Negative 300. Where is negative 300? Negative 300. It's in the first quadrant, so it's going to be positive. And what's the reference angle? 60. X coordinate on 60. So that's 1/2. Let me just skip to 4 real quick. Where's 120? Second quadrant. What do you know about cosine in the second? Yeah, can't. You know, my answer was positive 1/2. This answer is going to be negative something, so it's got to be different. Okay. Anything else? And I'm just going to share this with you because I know you can handle it. If worse comes to worse, especially on these multiple choices like you guys have been asking, you can use your calculator too. Okay, you can use your calculator. Remember, the only thing your calculator cannot do for you is if it gives you back a sloppy decimal. It cannot transform that into a radical or a fraction. Okay. Anything else on the homework or the assignment? Okay, how are we feeling about all this? I know it seems like there's a lot here, but at least it's all connected as far as ASTC, the unit circle, and all those points. How we feel, all right? Because I'm going to do a couple of review questions here with you to see where you're at. First one, a little function for you, notation from Algebra 2. F of x, 6 sine x. What's f of 60? F of 60. My first question to you guys is, what do I do with that 60? No, don't be easy. 2, what do I do with that 60? Darn right. So it's going to be 6 sine 60. The sine of 60. Don't try to touch your calculator. Sine of 60. Think of 60 and what coordinate? The y coordinate at 60. Y coordinate at 60. What do you got for me, 5? God, why? I'm just going to keep going all year and not even. I just get so fired up. 7. Okay, yeah, radical 3/2. Now, see, if you went to your calculator, you'd have been like, sloppy decimal, not going to help me. All right, let's keep going. What? But it's 1/2 radical 3/2. One job. One job. Okay, 6 times radical 3. 6 radical 3. Denominator, I have 2. Somebody reduce that one more time for me. Little help. Don't say a word. Okay. 15. 3 radical 3. Nice job. For number 2, we got our alpha now. What quadrant are we in? Third quadrant. I give you the value of cosine. I'm looking for the value of sine in the third quadrant. Before we do anything, I need everybody to eliminate 2 of those answers right now. Please eliminate 2 of the answers, and I'm going to ask you why you eliminated those 2. Because of the place where we are and what we're trying to find. 8, what'd you eliminate? Why? What's that mean?
Because the answer is negative 0.96. So wouldn't it have to be?
Not necessarily. What quadrant are you in?
We're in the third quadrant.
And I asked you to find what?
The sun.
What do you know about sine in the third? Negative. There you go. Good? Okay. Just because if one's negative doesn't mean the other one has to be. Okay? Just so happens we're in the third, and that's how it is. Anybody, I give you anything yesterday? If I gave you the sine or cosine, you could find the other one? The Pythagorean identity, yep. Which said sine, in this case, alpha squared plus cosine alpha squared equals what? 1, yep. So go ahead and plug in your negative 0.96 for cosine. I'll get back. I'll give you about 2 minutes right now to move everything over, square root everything, and find out what you had. Hopefully coming up with either choice 1 or 2. Choice 1. We're all good. Choice 1, move this over by subtracting it and then take the square root of both sides. And again, I can't stress this enough. Remember, you will get the plus and minus version out. No? You guys all right? But why am I taking the minus version? Not because it's a choice, but third quadrant sine. Okay, third quadrant sine. All good? And here's where we really drop some knowledge on each other right now. Find the exact form, no sloppy decimals. I either want radicals, fractions, or both. Sine of 570. Your first job. Where are you? What quadrant are you in? 570. Ooh. All the way around. Where are we? Third, okay. What do you guys know about sine in the third? It's negative, so at least I should know my final answer is going to be negative. So negative sine, reference angle for 570. Now, I don't blame you if you're like, right now, that's way too big for me to handle. I get it. I get it. Is there a way you can make it smaller? Subtract what from it? 360 and say, okay, now I'm dealing with not 570, but 210. Reference angle for 210. 30. And remember, the place where we're at now in this unit, it should be 30, 60, or 45. So it's going to be negative, let's see, 30. Think of the coordinate. And do you want to pluck the x or the y off? You're doing sine, so you want to plug the y coordinate off of 30 degrees, which would be negative, or in this 1/2. Yep. And yeah, I get it. You could just go on your, I'm not going to stop you from going on your calculator and finding out it's negative 1/2. Fine, that's fine. But if it's a sloppy decimal, you might be in trouble. 135, where are we? Actually, don't answer that. 18, where are we? 135. What do you know about cosine in the second? Good. Negative cosine. Make that angle smaller. 135, reference angle. 7, reference angle. 45. No, I love it when it's 45, right? Don't even have to think about what coordinate I need to pluck off. It's just going to be what? 8. Got it. Just to make sure it's negative. Ooh, do I get you on this one? 3 pi over 2. $17 pi over 2. Come on, you remember it. Pi over 2. That's pi over 4. Go another 45. 90 times 3. Where am I? You got it. Cosine of 270 now. Ooh, where's 270? 13, where's 270? Come on, use the big word. Quadrantal angle, Rachel. Quadrantal angle. You'll remember it now. It's a quadrantal angle, yes. Quadrantal angle, 270. What's that point? You want to redeem yourself? What's that point here at 270? There you go. You redeemed yourself. Good job. That's 0, -1. Which one do I want if I'm finding cosine? Oh, okay. Sorry. Showing off now. X coordinate. Yep. So that's just equal to 0. Okay. How we feel? This is where we are right now. We feel all right? Because I'm about to go a little crazy on you here. You guys have been so comfortable just taking the x and the y for sine and cosine. But that's only because we've been on the unit circle. What happens if we go off the unit circle now and I still need sine and cosine? That's today. All right, we are no longer working on the unit circle, so you cannot just pluck the x off for cosine or the y off for sine. So what the heck do I do? No big deal. Take a look. No big deal. Okay, so I have the unit circle here, but then I drew an even bigger circle, and I put a point A on there. And that point A, they tell me, is 12.5. But I'm still asking you guys for what's the value of sine and cosine. But unfortunately, you can't pluck off 12 and 5. It's not on the unit circle. So what am I going to do instead here? Ready. This is why we did all that geometry review last week. Using that point, we are going to make a right triangle. All right? We're going to bring this down vertically. And what they refer to as theta, that's my reference angle right here. That angle is going to be theta. Now, my challenge to you guys, and I know you can handle it. I believe in you. Can you find me 2 sides in that right triangle we just created? 2 side lengths. Can you find me 2 side lengths in that right triangle we just created? Here's a hint. Look at the coordinate I gave you at the beginning. There's an x coordinate, which represents the x-axis, and a y coordinate that represents the y-axis, right? What's one side length? 12. That's the one on the x-axis. Because if I go, hey, this is 12, that means I go over 12 units, right? So there's 12. And what's going to be 5? This one right here, yeah. So far, so good. I just don't want to show this to you. I'm going to get it out of you. Sine. Remember, you can't take the y coordinate. What did we do that involves sine in our geometry review last week? Yeah. SOHCAHTOA, right? What was sine equal to as far as SOHCAHTOA goes? Opposite over hypotenuse. Do you guys know the opposite side? Oh, didn't label the hypotenuse. This is why we did geometry review. Pythagorean theorem, two sides of a right triangle, find the third. Yes, this is why we did all of it. Just not to stress you out. We did it for a reason. Find the hypotenuse. Should have c squared as 169. So the value of c, 13. Yep. Oh, calm down. 13. So the sine is 5 over 13. Cosine. What do we use SOHCAHTOA for cosine? 8. Ready to go. Yes. Leave it as 5 over 13. Good question. Thank you. Want to go one more step for me? What's adjacent? What do you mean? No, you always go from the 12 over the hypotenuse of 13. So that's what we're going to be doing now when we're not on the unit circle. We're going to be drawing a right triangle, probably using Pythag to find the third side and doing SOHCAHTOA. Questions? Yes, I know it's beautiful how all this works. Yes, it will get worse. Yes, it will. It will get worse. But you guys have enough knowledge to handle it. You have enough. Yes, you do. You do. I wish you guys would start believing in yourself. You're pretty strong. 3, 4. All right, so the terminal side of theta goes through 3, 4. What quadrant is that in? 3, 4. Quadrant 1, all right. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys remember from the beginning of this unit, terminal side? No? There's the angle we're talking about right here. It's in standard position. So does everyone see the angle we're making? That's formed by the x-axis and the terminal side. This is my angle theta it's referring to. I should probably make that smaller. Can you find the sine and cosine of that angle, and at the end find the actual angle in degrees? All right, what did we do last? This is not. Does it say anything about being on the unit circle? Nope. Okay, so you just can't tell me it's 3 and 4. But everyone see the right triangle I can make using theta? Yep. You want to make sure that theta is inside it, so that's why I'm drawing a vertical line down, not a horizontal line. Can you label any of those sides for me? Look back at all that work we just did last problem. What's my bottom leg here? Yep. And how about my vertical 4? Any issues with those? Okay, we found out last problem we're going to eventually need the hypotenuse. Anybody know this one without doing Pythag? Oh, look at everybody here. Good job, Paw Patrol. Nice job. Yep. My 2- and 4-year-old love that stuff. Watch it for days. Sophia the First, anybody? Yep, we're into that one. Yep. Paw Patrol, Sophia the First. Yep. seems like there's a new one every month. I can't keep track of what they're watching. All right, good talk. Anyway, children's cartoons. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite here. 4 hypotenuse. Okay. Don't want to go too fast. What about cosine? Adjacent side. 3 hypotenuse 5. But now I add in this little extra wrinkle at the end. Actually, what is that angle measure? It's got to be between 0 and 90, right? It's in the first quadrant. How do I find it, though? You have enough knowledge. Geometry review from last week. Geometry review from last week. Finding an angle. Calculator. What's above sine and cosine? Your inverse. Yes. Can we make a class decision? Which one do we want to use? Cosine or sine? Sine. Okay, so I go, it's going to be the inverse of sine. And what fraction are you going to plug in if you're going to pick sine? 4 over 5. You can do it with cosine too. Just make sure you plug in 3 over 5. That will get me the angle measure. It's beautiful how this all works. To the nearest degree, 53 degrees. That angle's 53. It's not bad until we move quadrants, which we're going to do next. We're going to move quadrants now. Okay? That's beautiful when you work in the first, but now I got to move a quadrant on you. Because we need to find the angle. Remember last week, if we needed to find a side of a triangle, we cross-multiplied, right? But if we needed to find the angle, we always use the inverse button. Good deal? We sure? Good talk. All right, now the angle terminates at 6, -5. Which quadrant am I in now? Woo! All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 3. Okay, here we go. There's that angle. So here is theta, right? Oh, boy. One job. Try that again. Here's my angle right there, 4th quadrant, right? Oh, boy. So how can I find the sine and cosine still? What's that? What do you mean out there? Well, it says, it's in the 4th quadrant. So I always assume it's positive. So that's why we're going in this direction. We can still make a right triangle. Everyone see it? We're going to focus solely on the reference angle. All right? Focus on the reference angle. So here's my right triangle. Again, why didn't I draw it out like this, though? That's not the reference angle, right? I need the reference angle to be included in my triangle. Can you guys set up 2 sides now? Okay, what's the top side? 6, and going down. You can put -5, yeah. It's fine, going down, -5. We're going to have to find that. We're going to have to find the hypotenuse. So 6 squared plus, make sure you put the -5 in parentheses, equals c squared. I'm getting 61 out, but that's c squared. C will be square root of 61. Yikes. Ready for sine? Back to you guys. 8. Popular one today. Opposite over hypotenuse. Remember, it's the reference angle. Now we're going to have this awkward stare until somebody says something. I'm just going to tell you to have self-respect from now on. All right, have some self-respect. Don't be an embarrassment to the math community. Can't have a radical in the denominator. How do I get rid of it? Multiply top and bottom by radical 61. So this one will equal -5 radical 61 over. Quick question before I even started. How did I know this answer was going to be negative? Because it's fourth quadrant and we're finding sine. Yes, yes. It's all making sense, maybe. Cosine. 16. Which is? Over. Self-respect. Why does this one come out to be positive? Yeah, you're darn right it is. So most of you are like, well, this isn't, he changed quadrants, still not that bad. Woo, we haven't found the angle yet. Haven't found the angle yet. Which one do you want to do, cosine or sine? Cosine, so you want to do inverse cosine? Thank goodness of those fraction templates, huh? Some of you in this case. Because if not, you're going to have to use some double parentheses. What'd you get? So 40? You ready for bad news? It's not my answer. Mary, go ahead, tell your classmates. What's that 40 degrees represent? That angle, the reference angle. Remember at the beginning of the problem, the angle was in the fourth quadrant. So yeah, okay, that's 40 degrees. But what's my actual angle that I started with that I'm looking for? You got more power to find it. More than enough. 360 minus 40, that angle's actually 320 degrees. Okay, the angle I started with in the beginning of the problem was in the fourth quadrant. That was its reference angle you found. 320 is the actual angle. Okay? Hey, are we doing all right? I know that blowed some eyes there. I get it. Next one's kind of the same. Everyone having a good day? No? Okay. My day, Mary? It's actually not bad. Not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. A lot less stressful than usual. All right, we'll put it that way. Any other comments or questions? Want to throw anything out there before we do this next one? Okay. I found out today that one of my students went to Eagle, shocker, in 5th period, and wants to, as like a minor in college, document animals. Do documentaries on animals. As like film. No, that's totally legit. And I thought it was not one of the greatest things, but it was just so different that I've never heard that before. Like Shark Week, they go underwater and film something like. Well, like he mentioned like Shark Week when you go underwater and start filming the sharks and stuff. No. So I thought that was very different and unique. Because when he first said it, I thought he was just going to run in the woods and find some woodland animals. Like, oh, there's a beaver. Get it. And I was like, whoa, easy, buddy. All right, and then he started talking about the Shark Week. I was like, all right, I'm on board now. You got me. I'm on board. So, all right, anyway. All right, little different for this one. This one, guys, I didn't give you an XY coordinate like I did on the last two. This one, I gave you what cosine was, and I'm looking for sine and the angle. First of all, what quadrant am I dealing with? Quadrant 3. Okay, so I'm in quadrant 3. Now, the first thing you're going to have a problem with is how do you draw that right triangle in quadrant 3? Because, yeah, I don't know. Okay, use the reference angle. I get that. Here's how I'm going to help you. I want you to draw a bow tie. You know, either am I, but here. The bow tie will tell you how to set up each triangle in every quadrant. Okay? So does everybody see the triangle we're using in the third? Okay. Okay, all right, here we go. Next problem we run into, now that we know how to draw the triangle, next problem we run into is, how about some side lengths? Because you guys would just usually pick off the coordinate and go, that's my x, there's my y, I got two of them. Is there any way I can use that -8/17? What's the 8 represent since it's cosine? That's the adjacent side is -8. What's my hypotenuse? 17. Now, I will let you know, though, in all seriousness, hypotenuse never negative. Okay, hypotenuse never negative. So how did I know to put the negative sign on the 8? It's on the negative side of the x-axis. But hypotenuse never negative. Can we find out? Actually, you know what? Can I save you time because we're running out of time so you don't have to do Pythag? 15. But what about it? I'm on this side of the y-axis. It's negative, yep. All right. I only have to find sine here. We've been saying that's opposite over hypotenuse. Everyone see the reference angle because that's what you're going by. What's opposite the reference angle? -15 and the hypotenuse 17. Okay, how can I find the angle? Inverse sine, plugging in, -15/17. Ooh, yikes. -62, huh? -62. Well, it's a reference angle, so it's got to be positive. So I probably don't want to use -62. I'll use positive 62 there. But that's not my theta I want because I need an angle in the third quadrant, right? I need that angle. So what do I have to do with the 62? Oh boy, we always get this confused. Are you going past 180 or before it? Past 180. So I want to take 180 and add 62 to it. And that angle will be 242 degrees. Oh yeah, we got time for one more. Yep, don't even think about packing up. We can do this in 3 minutes. Watch this magic. Okay, that's not even. You went there. I don't even go that. I don't even go that far. I don't even go that far. Terminal side is at 0, -2. Where would 0, -2 be on my graph? On the line, right? 0, -2. So here's my angle right here. And notice it says this should be quick in parentheses. What's that angle measure? 270. I don't need to do any inverse on that one. And then find the sine and cosine. Can I use those coordinates? Can't use those coordinates because they're not on the unit circle. But I can use the unit circle coordinates. I can use 0, -1. So I can use 0, -1 to find the sine and cosine. What's the y coordinate? -1. And what's my x coordinate? 0. And worst comes to worst, what could I use? Your calculator. Yes, you can use your calculator. All right, if worst comes to worst. Hey, I told you we could finish it. Nice job today. I will answer all your homework since tomorrow.